I want to tell you about a client of mine. She came to me with an itinerary that was scheduled pretty much hour by hour. Every morning, every afternoon, every evening. I looked at it and thought, okay. I gently told her that in my experience, this pace tends to catch up with people. She said, no, this is how we travel. We like to stay busy. Totally valid. I respected it. We did the consultation. We made it work. Then I got an email from her after the trip. By day 3, her husband and kids were begging to just hang out at the pool. They were completely done. Done sitting in a hot car, done stopping at every scenic viewpoint. They just wanted to float in the water and not go anywhere. And I think about that email a lot because it happens so often. The trip people plan and the trip they actually want once they get there are sometimes two very different things. Welcome back to Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I'm Marcy, and today I want to talk to you about something that catches a lot of first-timers off guard. Not logistics, not crowds, not which island to pick. This is more about the psychology of a Hawaii trip. Specifically, all the things people overestimate about themselves before they go. Because the planning version of you and the on-vacation version of you are not always the same person. So let's start with driving. My kids get carsick, which means we make a lot of stops on any given road trip in Hawaii. And they are also just always hungry, which means we make even more stops on top of that. A trip to see a waterfall will typically include stopping for malasadas on the way there and shave ice or an acai bowl on the way back. Sometimes both. That one outing can eat half a day, and we're genuinely not mad about it. But it's something I would never have predicted when I was sitting at home planning the trip. Even without carsick kids factored in, Hawaii does this to people. The roads are winding, the scenery makes you just want to pull over constantly. You round a bend and there's a monk seal on the beach just doing your thing, and you're stopping. End of discussion. First-time visitors look at the map and think they can cover a lot of ground each day. And they can, technically. It just takes longer than it looks, and honestly, that's kind of the point. So if your itinerary has you moving between multiple areas of the island in one day, I would take another look at that before you go. The same thing happens with organized activities. You're booking a Hawaii trip, you're excited, there are no shortage of incredible things to sign up for. Snorkel tours, helicopter rides, luau's, farm tours, kayaking, zip lines, and you want to do it all. I get it. But what happens when you actually get there is the beach is right there. The pool is right there. Getting your family dressed and loaded into a van to go somewhere structured starts to feel like a lot more than it sounded like when you booked it. I had a client who stacked activity after activity before her trip. She was so excited, and I tried gently to slow her down. After the trip, she told me she booked too much. Her family canceled a farm tour and a boat trip because they just wanted to be at the beach. They didn't want to move, and she was not upset about it. She said those ended up being the favorite days of the whole trip. What I usually tell people is to front load the bigger activities in the first half of the trip and leave the back half more open. By then, you'll have a much better read on what you actually feel like doing, which is often a lot less than what you imagined when you're booking from your couch in February. Another thing I want to mention is how early you'll be waking up. West Coast travelers especially get caught by this one. The logic makes total sense. Hawaii is 2 or 3 hours behind, so if my body's on Pacific time, I'll naturally wake up early and get a jump on the day. Beat the crowds, catch the sunrise, use those bonus hours. But here's what actually happens. You're on vacation. You're staying up later than you do at home. You're sitting on the lanai watching the stars because the sky looks like that and you can. And then 6 a.m. shows up and it's just not happening. I had a client who made this exact plan. A West Coast family fully convinced the time difference would carry them through the whole trip. They did great the first couple of days. Then the activities and the late evenings caught up with them and they couldn't rally. They shifted their start times, leaned into slow mornings, and said it ended up being one of the best parts of the trip. Hawaii is good at this. It pulls you into its pace whether you planned for it or not. The problem is when you have non-refundable early tours booked every morning and your body has other ideas. Build in some flex time, especially in the second half. People also overestimate how much energy they'll have. That wall I just described, it's real and it hits families harder than people expect. I've been taking my own kids to Hawaii since they were babies, across 4 islands, more trips than I can count. And even my kids, who know Hawaii well at this point, hit a point mid-trip where they just cannot do a full excursion. The tank is empty. So what I've landed on is planning morning activities only and then seeing where the day goes. If it turned into a long day, the next day is a pool day or a beach day with nothing on the calendar. That one slower day is what actually gives you the energy for another good day after that. Skip it and push through and everyone gets tired and short with each other. And suddenly, your family having an argument in a parking lot on the road to Hana, which, trust me, is a terrible place to have an argument. If you want help thinking through how to actually build that rhythm into your trip before you go, episode 75 is the one. How to plan a Hawaii family trip without the overwhelm. It gets into the structure of a well-paced Hawaii itinerary in a lot more detail. All right, people also overestimate dinner reservations every night. So this is the one that surprises people, dinner reservations. A lot of first-time visitors book a nice restaurant for almost every night of the trip, and I understand why. Hawaii has incredible food and you want to experience it. But what tends to happen is that the evening goes somewhere no one expected. Some days you'll stop at 2 or 3 food trucks back to back because you cannot help yourself and dinner has basically already happened by 4 p.m. Some days you'll have such a late, big lunch that nobody's actually hungry at 7. And some days you're still in the pool and there's just no version of reality where everyone is getting showered and out the door in time. Those are the nights when having nothing booked is a gift. You grab poke from the grocery store, you eat on the lanai, the sun goes down. That is a great Hawaii night. Book 1 or 2 special dinners, leave the rest open, and you will not regret it. All right, the last thing people regret. The last thing people overestimate. Beaches. A lot of people come in with a list and plan to work through it. Different beach every day. See everything, don't miss anything. And I understand that too. But what almost always happens is you find a beach that works for your family early in the trip and you just keep going back to it. For us, that usually means somewhere with good restrooms, in showers, and calm water, or one of those small beaches that hardly anyone knows about. Once you find it, you know where to park, you know your spot, you know what time it fills up. My family has favorite beaches on every island that we return to trip after trip. There is something really good about a place that already feels like yours. It also means your kids can actually settle in and relax instead of spending the first hour figuring out a new beach every day. A list of beaches to hit is fun to make, but don't be surprised if you end up at the same one 4 days in a row and love every minute of it. So here's what I noticed across all of these. People plan Hawaii trips around the most optimistic version of themselves. The one who wakes up at 6 a.m. feeling great, stays on the move all day, makes every dinner reservation, and hits a different beach every morning. And then they land and meet their Hawaii self. One who wants to float in the ocean, eat malasadas, and not be anywhere in particular. The trips that go best are the ones that left room for that person to show up. The most useful thing you can do before your trip is have someone look at your plans and ask the uncomfortable questions before you get there. Are you sure you want to drive that far on day 3? Where's your plan? What's your plan if someone wakes up not feeling that activity? Where's the breathing room in here? That's exactly what I do in consultations. You bring me your trip and we build something that accounts for your actual family. The tired version, the hungry version, the we just want to sit by the pool version. I have 60 and 90-minute Hawaii travel consultations available at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Travel Consultant. And if you already have an itinerary and want a second set of eyes on it, I do Hawaii itinerary audits for $50, written feedback with specific notes within 2 business days. You can submit yours at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Itinerary Review. For everything else, my favorite resources, trusted vendors, all of it in one place, head to hawaiitravelwithkids.com under the Hawaii Resources tab. Thanks for listening. If this episode makes you go back and delete a few things off your itinerary, my work here is done. I'll see you next week. Aloha.